We're going to switch gears now and move on to a tip number 18, which is a slightly more open star, to do our zigzag puffs. For this technique, it's basically the same as doing a zigzag, except we're using a larger tip, but we're also holding our bag at a 45-degree angle. We're going to pipe a zigzag, and we're going to make the zigzag slightly larger towards the middle, and we're going to squeeze a little bit harder in the middle of the zigzag puff so that it looks like it's built up in the center. Again, here's a slightly different angle. Notice that I squeeze a little bit harder and I make the zigzags larger to give it more of a three-dimensional, puffy kind of look. This is a fun thing to do along a bottom or even a side border. Shells are probably the most commonly used piping technique. You see them on a lot of borders. You want to use a tip number 21 for this size of a shell, and we're going to have our tip at a 45-degree angle to the surface. The trick with shells is that you hold the tip steady and you squeeze, letting the icing build up in front of the tip, and then you gradually release pressure as you pull the tip back. That's what gives you the shell shape. It's important to remember to allow space in front of the tip for the icing to build up so that you get a nice rounded shell. So when you're doing a shell border, for example, you don't want to position the tip where you want the beginning of the next shell to be. You want to position it further back. This will allow proper spacing in between the shells because the icing will build up in front of the tip as you squeeze it out. Hopefully with this more aerial view you can see how the icing builds up in front of the tip. You don't want to lift the tip up and down to make the shell. That's not going to give you a uniform shell shape. Instead, notice you hold the tip steady and squeeze, and the icing will fan out in front of the tip, and that gives the shell its rounded shape at the front of it there.